we'll cover a few overview documents that are listed on our website. The first is the timeline for round 4. The key dates are in the golden rows. The first key date is July 1st, 2020. If a grant is awarded this round, eligible costs such as CEQA, planning costs, design costs, pre-construction, going back to July 1st of 2020, are eligible for reimbursement. So July 1st of 2020 is the start of the grant's performance period. As Cedric mentioned, 395 million is available this round. This is the final round under Prop 68. It has about 140 million more available than the previous round. So we highly encourage you to start preparing your application now and get ready for this round. You're currently in the application workshop webinar phase. We will provide technical assistance throughout the application process. Please take advantage of our competitive project officers available to help you. They look forward to providing assistance throughout your application process. From July through August, you should start considering potential project sites following project selection criteria number 1 and number 2. Natalie will cover those 2 criteria soon. Also, you should start community planning for the project concept design. We have a new document providing COVID-19 guidance on our website, which we will also discuss today. From September through November, you'll complete your application following the application packet checklist on page 11 of the application guide. The deadline to submit your application is December 14th of this year. We'll have an online application link soon on our website. That should be available by sometime in August. Once that's available, you can start uploading your draft application documents and we can start providing feedback on them starting from August all the way through December. The only exception is the project selection criteria section. For that section, we cannot provide feedback and it also must be complete by December 14th. We hope to award the grants by summer of 2021 for the full 395.3 million. Now here's a key thing for you to be aware of. You should plan to complete your project by March of 2025. This means the project should be open to the public by March of 2025. Okay, there's a final 20% retention of the grant amount for your final 20% reimbursement. This goal of a March 2025 timeframe to complete your project allows for the final 3 months for your final payments by June 30, 2025. June 30, 2025 is the end of the grant's performance period. So here's a couple key points. Number 1, if you cannot complete your project by by March of 2025, there's 2 approaches you can take. Number 1 is scale your project down to a phase that can be complete by spring of 2025. So you can phase your project down to recreation opportunities that can be developed and open to the public by spring of 2025. Your second option is to look for a different project site where you can propose a project that will be complete by March of 2025. Okay. The next document that provides a really handy tool for you is the competitive chart. So Sam, there it is on your screen. This chart's also available on our website. I'd call this chart your cheat sheet. This is a cheat sheet which summarizes the key points in the application guide. If you look on the left-hand side, number 1 through 5 are your basic starting points for what you should be aware of, what you should consider to plan your project. For example, will there be an eligible applicant? Are you aware this program is competitive, that funding is not guaranteed? You can request up to 8.5 million. In the prior rounds, we had grant awards for less than 1 million all the way to 8.5 million. I believe the average grant request and grant amount was somewhere in between at between $4 to $5 million as the average request and average amount. For item 3, are you aware of the site control requirements? In other words, will the applicant own the land or is proposing an acquisition, or will there be a lease agreement or turnkey agreement that meets the requirements? Number 4, eligible project site. Using the community fact finder, you have to meet one of the 2 thresholds. You'll see that 51,000 is shown in strike through. That's to make people aware of the increase between round 3 and round 4. Currently, in the top hand right side, you'll see 56,982. That is the new threshold for round 4. So it's about $5,000 higher now. Natalie will cover what this all means when she covers project selection criteria number 1 and 2. And finally, number 5, the type of project. It needs to either create a new park, which is the highest ranking type of project, or a park expansion or renovation of an existing park. So please use this as your cheat sheet. You'll see in the right hand side, there's a link to the application guide, and you'll see that you'll see on that link that there's page references. So please use the application guide where there's more information. Now, the final key point for this document is the yes no section. Your goal is to get to yes for every row here. If you get to no, then you need to ask yourself, how can I get to yes? What changes can I make to get to yes? If you cannot get to yes, you may want to consider a different project, whether it's a different project site or a different project scope at the same site. Okay, so please use this tool. The next final document as an overview is called Best Practices. Okay, on best practices, you'll see a overview of how to approach this program from a philosophy. It's a competitive program, and one of the questions we've received over the past 20 years is, what's the most common mistake you see from applicants? And I would say that the most common mistake is trying to take a predetermined project and trying to make it fit grant programs without making adjustments. A predetermined project can work for this program, but it's very likely that some adjustments will need to be made following the project selection criteria. So, one of the best things I can tell you today is get in the mindset of using the project selection criteria as your guide to plan a project. You want to score as many points as possible. Okay, so use the criteria. Sam, please go to the second page. So the key steps to plan a competitive project under this program are on this page. There's 5 key steps. Again, be open to using the application guide as your tool to plan your project. Adapt to the guide. Number 2 is site assessment. Select a project site within your jurisdiction, within the community. That is the best fit for this program. And you'll use the community fact finder tool. We also have a video and a handbook on our website, which provides tips. The video is helpful in that it shows you different tips of how to be competitive and find a good project site. Number 3, design the project with the residents. We will have a new document which shares methods learned from prior rounds of applications for different methods that applicants used in the past that were successful. And we have new COVID-19 guidance available, which we will discuss today. Number 4, the project timeline, which I covered. Make sure you plan a project that can be complete on time. In the application guide on checklist page 11, there's a project timeline requirement. We have a timeline form in the application guide, which has about 20 different layers that are normal for pre-construction and construction for these types of larger projects. So that timeline is a very handy tool for you to figure out how you can accomplish all those different milestones like local reviews and permits, local agency approval, um, and get it all done to complete your project by spring of 2025. So we hope that tool is handy for you. And then finally, the application checklist on page 11 is what you will use to organize your application. Page 11 of the application guide provides all the application requirements in one place.